Welcome to the Smite Pro League. Here is Finch. I've got Anatoly with me as well. Gonna see some awesome European SPL action today. In fact, this first set's gonna be a bit of a doozy, so you're gonna go ahead and grab your drinks now because you don't want to miss a second.
Dignitas against NRG. There's a lot to say about this set, a lot of history between these two teams.
Oh yeah, and this matchup's gonna be so important. You're gonna want to make sure that you don't miss a minute of it because it's gonna have a lot of impacts later, but we'll go into all of that later. There's so much cool Smite stuff for you to look forward to this year from different events that we're going to be going to, different lands as well. So let's go ahead and get those up on the schedule so that you know when you can expect to see the placement rounds, the World Championships, the All-Star event going to be coming up towards the end of summer as well. Just a whole lot of really cool Smite stuff.
Also excited about the Smite All-Stars. We had that last year with the Invitational, and we got to see a lot of different high-caliber players grouped up from different teams, so interesting to see those All-Stars come together yet again.
That's right, a chance to see if some of your favorite players are working with someone else, how well can they adapt, who can kind of draft the best team. It was a draft format last time, so it was very, very cool to be able to check in with all that totally.
And moving forward in this specific matchup, Dignitas against NRG, I'm really excited to see how some of these players are going to adapt, because in the last split, Dignitas didn't have NRG's number, but they were the ones that did get to the LAN.
And they were the ones that made it into the LAN indeed. But if you want to be able to make it to HRX at DreamHack, well, then all you have to do is purchase a ticket. It'll be just that easy. November 16th through 18th, so a little warmer now, but you'll get to watch Smite, Smite Console, Paladins Console. It's way too much value for just one ticket. I can't believe we're doing it, to be honest.
A little bit earlier than the previous years of the first week of January, so don't forget to mark that on your calendar.
That's right. Yeah, maybe a little bit sooner than you used to be expecting, but I think everyone will really enjoy this time because there's a lot of cool stuff happening there at DreamHack, plus all the Smite stuff that you love. So let's go ahead and get the schedule for when you can check out all the Smite stuff that's being broadcast here by us, like the Console League. That'll be on Mondays. The Global Series is just about every morning at 11 a.m., Tuesdays through Fridays. Then the Minor League usually follows that. And then the SPL, that's Monday through Friday, always starting at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Always ending with the Smite Pro League and starting today off with a European, the Dignitas versus NRG matchup, that very first set of the day. I just can't wait to get into this one, Finch.
I can't wait to get into it either, totally, because it's so important that those top four teams, or really the three teams last time, how they traded was important. In fact, if we could take a look at those standings, then you'll get to be able to see where all the teams are already breaking down, or rather the schedule is what we're going to be taking a look at here first. Then we'll get that standings up there for you afterwards. But this will show you which matchups are going to be coming when. We're on Thursday, so that's Dig, NRG, then Rival Mouse Sports, and then you got NA coming tomorrow.
You can tell what the past was, where Dignitas actually overcame Rival 2-1, similar to how they did in the online portion of the spring, but NRG losing earlier against Obey Alliance puts them at the bottom of the standings. Very uncharacteristic of NRG squad.
And that's why they really cannot afford to drop this game here up against Dignitas, already dropping to Obey. That's what kept them out of the Smite Masters lane in the first place, was dropping that set to Obey. So they're already kind of having that same weakness. Hopefully NRG can overcome that here against Dig, because at least in spring, NRG kind of had Dig's number to a certain extent.
That's true. NRG just had something going where there's always a internal battle of the junglers, where it's QvoFred against adapting, trying to duke it out against each other, where some days it would be Qvo, others it would be adapting. But this time around, with NRG dropping to Obey Alliance, they need to step it up here to make sure that they're not going to allow that previous set to be the spoiler where they don't qualify to another LAN. 2 LANs in a row that NRG would miss would be unheard of. I don't think that NRG has ever missed a LAN since they really started to take off in the beginning or middle of Season 2, rather.
They really had a strong streak going, and that's going to be challenged for them here against Dignitas. What incredible opponents that NRG are going to have to face off. Everyone on this Dignitas squad I feel like is strong, but in particular, I was thinking that we should focus in really onto Variety. He's been so strong for them in the solo lane. He's got this matchup up against maniaKK where I feel like he has a really good opportunity to kind of facilitate for the rest of this team, depending on how he's able to rotate, if he can get ahead.
And with the Season 5 meta changes towards adapting of healers, Variety can easily go on that train, whereas maniaKK is not really known for his healers. He's more known for a lot of aggressive warriors, and as long as Variety is patient enough and he picks one of those sustained gods, I think that NRG will have an advantage in that solo lane.
Yeah, it's not the split or the meta where we have as much of like the carry solo as we used to. That was like kind of like a Season 2, 3-ish kind of thing where solo laners could rotate over and just run the game. But Variety, he did not get that notice. I feel like he can absolutely still do that for this Dignitas squad. So they're going to be looking towards him, I think, to come up in a big way.
And he kind of took a page a little bit from Obey's book, the way Zalia plays that solo lane. And with Obey beating NRG, I think that style is almost NRG's bane and weakness. So if Dignitas can adapt that style today, they should find a victory.
Yeah, it's almost like a bit of a blueprint there, right? What is it that Obey are doing that's causing so much trouble for this NRG roster? As you can see there, it is that swap out. We used to be Raffer here when this was the squad, but now it is EmilZy. He's been fitting in rather well with them, even though they didn't quite make it to LAN. But this NRG squad is certainly going to be a tough problem for them. And if we zoomed in on variety for Dignitas, then Yammyn here for this NRG roster. I mean, mages are the ones dealing the damage, getting the farm, and Yammyn's getting it done.
There's two gods in particular that a lot of teams are racing for in picks and bans. The first one is the Athena. The second is this Giannis pick. A lot of global pressure with the widened Season 5 map, and I'm expecting between these two teams to try to prioritize both of those gods sooner rather than later.
And Yammyn was one of those guys who was hard carrying from the mid lane before the mid lane was this strong. I mean, totally, even when hunters were kind of the thing and they'd walk over and two-shot mages, Yammyn did not seem to care very much.
He would play Sol, Kronos, Chiron in the mid lane, a lot of flexibility, even played Zeus during Season 2. So Yammyn is one of these guys that you don't necessarily know what he's going to play. And I think NRG, in their match against Obey Alliance, they were trying to do their own thing, but unfortunately for them, that they couldn't find those victories against Obey Alliance, kind of faltered against the Captain Twigs Bastet, something that they probably weren't used to. So against Dignitas, who also has a flexible god pool, this matchup could go either way.
Yeah, the jungle here, Yammyn adapting the jungle mid synergy, going to be very important going here up against Team Dignitas. But I believe we got picks and bans ready for you all for Game 1. Dignitas going up against NRG, and you've hinted at what some of the popular picks are, some of the priority picks, the Athenas, the Giannis's. Do you think that we're going to see those exact same bans here, or is it going to be towards those healers?
It's depending on what Dignitas wants to take away. So already with the Thoth ban, it means that they want to get an early mage pick. So Giannis could be the first one, maybe even Discordia if Giannis is banned by NRG.
Serket also going to be the ban for NRG, and very popular picks like Guan totally like Xbalanque, those are still on the table as Dignitas bans yet another mage away from Yammyn's pool. Yammyn has a very large god pool, but you got to take some of these top end ones away from
I think they just want to get rid of the standard mage pools, and they might lean towards the Discordia earlier, as Dignitas' Zyrhoes really likes to do. Those are his top 3 gods. Those two stripped away alongside Discordia. Not to say that he can't play anything else, because he used to play jungle. He used to also have a flexible god pool, but a race to Athena, and Dignitas got it first.
That global pressure is going to be there for Dignitas. It does mean Guan, Xbalanque are available if NRG want to grab that, but you kind of mentioned how Dignitas may want to get that Discordia for Zyrhoes. I think they kind of had plenty of Discordia at the LAN, right? So they want to try and grab that on their side as much as they can, as Nemesis actually going to be the pick for NRG to go along with Artemis, a very strong late game hunt.
2 late game goddesses that are going to pack the punch. NRG investing towards that at the beginning allows the Guan Yu, allows even the Xbalanque if Dignitas want to go for it. There are some interesting team fight mechanics that Dignitas can really go for between the healing, between the protection trade of Guan Yu, and then you got the setup from the Athena, so it doesn't even matter what Zyrhoes plays. So that's why QvoFred gets his Ravana.
I like this, though, because they have so much setup here. I don't think there's as much need to force a carry pick right now. Almost anything synergizes with Athena Guan, right? So prioritize this jungler, take it away from adapting, because he has been playing Ravana rather well, and this, I think, really sets up Dignitas to a good spot as Ra comes in for NRG.
A lot of flexibility with NRG's draft. You don't really know where their solo is going to be. You don't know necessarily what their support is. That's why Discordia stripped away, targeting out Zyrhoes with the Ra selection for Yammyn. Not something that he's been known to play, but definitely with the mechanics of himself, should be able to land that shot every time, even despite adapting, playing the Nemesis, which doesn't have the setup that you might necessarily always need.
Now, Terra gets banned here by Dignitas along with the Geb. Those are strong bans, but it does mean that Nemesis, Ra, Artemis all taken above Terra, who's considered so strong right now with the Earth and Fury, those walls, not prioritized here by Dig, and they end up dropping down to the Amaterasu.
A little surprising to see Terra yet again go through the secondary ban phase, but there are so many good picks in the summer of Season 5 that you can't necessarily go wrong with those 6 before the bans.
8th pick Xbalanque probably feels good. and then got the Guan Yu on that side as well. And then a Raijin to go along with this. Wow, Raijin has kind of started to make a bit of a comeback here. He does so much damage to
We saw yesterday in the North American side, Paul was playing a little bit, did the damage, and people forget just how much of a punch he brings. Not only that, the fear aspect of the taiko drums. He can self-peel and do the damage at the same time. Whenever you have a god that can bring the damage and also, more importantly, bring his own form of CC to the table, now everyone is feasting on that target.
Everyone on Dig really has relevant crowd control for NRG to have to worry about. Raijin with the taiko drums, the big ultimate from Xbalanque, taunt, the cavalry charge. This is a scary Dig roster as NRG rounds their comp out with the Cerberus.
I like the Cerberus to amplify the raw damage, Ghastly Breath. There's a lot of slows in that, on top of the second ability of the raw to chase down the same target, or let alone just appeal for whoever penetrates that backline. QvoFred might have a difficult time if that Cerberus is next to Ra.
It can be kind of hard to get that off of him. Well, now that you've seen both these drafts here, totally, you're leaning one way or the other. Historically, this matchup's kind of gone to NRG.
I like Dignitas because of the Athena Guan Yu combination. Great setup, great sustain. Ra doesn't have the same kind of cooldowns that the Guan Yu does in the later stages, so I got to give it to Dig.
Well, we're leaning a little bit towards Dig here on the desk. We'll have the casters go ahead and take it away.
Thanks a lot, Fidget, totally. Yeah, obviously they're leaning towards Dig, but statistics tell a different story. NRG have kind of come out on top most of the time against Dignitas through the past year. Dignitas' stumbling block always seems to have been NRG.
With that said, Graham, I really like the fact that I'm really on the fact that NRG might not be the same team that they were in the spring. I had mentioned that EmilZy had come here and immediately out of the gate, that was a positive, but I'm not sure if they could really stay as strong with as everything continues and teams get better. And watching them versus Obey earlier in the week, they did not have the success that they've had in the spring split. So
early days, though.
I think this might mess up that triangle.
Early days, though. Who do you guys at home think will win Game 1? Obviously, a best of 3 as always throughout this year. During the regular season, they'll play each other twice, but you know, week 1 is a great little test for both these two teams because a very important game, specifically in Europe, with how tight it can be at the top.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much competition, and when you look at the lower end squads, even when we watch SK and Mouse, even those guys look like they're stepping it up. So it's really exciting to see everybody here in the summer split, where spring split is sort of a shake off the rust. We're getting back into it.
Get used to season 5. Learn
it's
the game.
not preseason.
Yeah,
and then summer split comes and everybody's like, let's do it.
It's go time. And with that, let's get into a game where it is go time straight away. Variety will be in the Athena in the solo lane. Trixtank back to the Guan Yu. We saw him on that earlier on this week too. Obviously, Trixtank has always been able to play the warrior support of times gone by. The old Sun Wukong days spring to mind, but definitely the Guan Yu too.
Sun Wukong and Guan Yu is where Trixtank originally made his name on. We're in 2018. 2014 was the launch tournament in the springtime in downtown Atlanta, and Trixtank won that tournament with his then team solo mid team playing Guan Yu and Sun Wukong support.
Season 2, Season 3, he actually transitioned towards the Hercules support as well, which saw a lot more play there.
I love Herc support.
I think he's really valuable. He's got 2 peels as well as a bit of a damage secure. CC immunity can be useful, but all in on emilitoo. Body blocks came through. Great Aegis though from emilitoo to absorb the damage. But the turnaround from Dig to switch targets to EmilZy doesn't pay off in a kill at all. It was sprint for sprint after all.
It doesn't pay off in a kill, and players are only level 1. But Guan Yu is going to have the sustainment lane that NRG eSports don't have there. Sure, EmilZy's going to be able to seal a little bit of it away by way of the passive, but at the end of the day, I love the Guan Yu.
Pressure to Cuvo at the moment on the Ravana, up against Adapting's Nemesis this game. Raijin in the mid though, Tom.
Exactly where I was going to go, man. We've seen Trixtank, we've seen Cuvo on these picks. Variety has really started to shine on the solo Athena, not something he originally had the God Pool, but has certainly extended to. Raijin, though, in the hands of Zyrhoes, here's the thing. There's definitely a character I don't really see Zyrhoes play often, but 2 things I want to mention. 1, Raijin is dummy strong right now, and 2, Zyrhoes is one of those guys that if I see him play a character I've never seen him play before, which isn't the case necessarily with Raijin, just rarely, I'm not concerned because I know this dude can play a lot of stuff.
What was it about Raijin that brought him back all of a sudden? That's why I'm still confused, because we saw him at the World Championships. He was a very big pick. Season 5 kicked in. Spring, nobody touched him. Summer comes around and everyone's like, well, Raijin.
It's just a matter of the other choices being a little bit more exciting than him. He has this early game pressure, which wasn't really a focus for the European teams. The North American teams focused on it, but went to the nth degree and looked for hunters. This Raijin, it brings a lot of mid pressure, but just brings a stupid amount of damage as well.
I feel it's almost poke is what I'm kind of looking at there, because it's extra poke after clearing the wave off more than anything else. You want to be able to clear the wave and get some poke out, and Raijin can do that a little bit easier than a lot of the mages we've seen. The Giannis, you know, the Raw. There's plenty of gods. Discordia. All these sort of gods don't bring as much poke as someone like a Raijin will.
Also, to get a little bit more nitty-gritty instead of surface level, itemization really helps this character. Shaman's Ring is a wonderful item. All of Raijin's damage, including the dash, is subsequent damage, meaning that he fires an ability and then follows it up. There's a channel ability for 1, channel ability for 4, channel ability for 2, channel ability for 3. All of them benefit from Shaman's Ring. We're entering what people are going to call a healing meta. Because of the way Raijin works, it's a fantastic ability to spread Divine Ruin and other ability and other effects like that. This is just a character that fits in really well with itemization and the current flavor of the week choices.
Well, start of the game, Zyrhoes going for potentially a Book of Thoth rush. We have seen Soul Reavers before in this position though, so I don't want to discredit that. So just keep an eye to see which of those two go through. With the tier 2 book start, I do feel it's probably going to be a Book of Thoth. More than likely, not a Soul Reaver.
I'm not sold just yet. This is one where I'm really just going to hold my tongue, Graham. I think both options. I prefer the Book of Thoth option, to be honest with you, but a lot of these players have opted for Soul Reaver first, which don't tell aggro, but it works.
I'm going to say as well, the one I think this is the actual game for me now, that if I don't see a if I see a Soul Reaver picked up or a Book of Thoth in this scenario, I think Book of Thoth's been put to bed for a while, and we're going to see more Soul Reavers, more Warlock Staffs, and Thoth on the back burner for a time.
Nice thing about Soul Reaver right now is that it does percent damage, and it's not necessarily dependent on penetration. It's true damage, right? And so because of that, you're not going to see early penetration by way of boots. The cooldown boots are very exciting in the upcoming patch. So watching players opt for the early Soul Reaver instead is sort of a warm-up getting ready for that.
Well, we mentioned the Athena a little bit already for variety in that right-hand side, up against Amaterasu. Two gods we're starting to see a little bit more of going into the summer split. Athena in that solo lane for sure is something that we've seen variety picking up more so than the Sobek we used to see all through spring. Why Athena over Sobek all of a sudden?
It's two different approaches. Sobek is going to have a little bit more control by way of multiple options, where Athena just has that one taunt. But the one taunt is a huge payoff when you have characters like the Raijin, because you just need the one taunt. You don't have to continuously peel. Sobek is great for controlling the enemy and, more importantly, peeling for your backline. Raijin can just literally jump out of there, so don't need the extra help.
Well, Amaterasu having a good time of things with all these low pressure lanes, and now looking for a kill onto variety because Adaptin was here for cleanup crew. The taunt bought enough time though to get away. Adaptin had to get away from the tower shots. QvoFred off the mark with the ultimate and with the meditation. maniaKK cleans up variety by mistake.
Oh,
just a casualty
man.
of war there.
So unfortunate coming out for Team Dignitas there, because that was a beautiful taunt. I want to break that down after QvoFred blinks away.
He gets away for now. It's going to lose the blue buff. This is a nice little bit of work from NRG here. 4 men ended up rotating for that engagement. They do get a pick, steal away a blue. It's not a huge amount, but it's something.
And just going back to that Variety play, really incredible. In fact, Variety's going to come on back here by way of the ultimate. Trixtank hops on the horse, couple of hits on a maniaKK. That's going to be the kill target.
Oh, can they get it, though? Because there's a good ult from emilZy to peel them away. That maniaKK trying to get away, and the body blocks from emilZy. Beautiful to buy the solo laner. Enough of a window to get back out of the danger zone.
Zyrhoes here just going to clean up a little bit of the mid lane since everybody's dissipated. And a reminder to the folks at home, we're on 5.8, not the current 5.9 patch that's on live, so the boots change hasn't gone through just yet.
Still a viable item, the Shoes of Focus as well. That's one of the bigger talking points. Magi is still going to have the same amount of power it used to. Will go up in the next patch, which is on live right now. But the big thing to note about that, NRG were the ones that, when aggressive first, they find the pick. Then, you saw what Dignitas want to do. They can try and reinitiate and go again on the counter-attack. If NRG hang around, luckily enough, emilZy was there to help heal. Otherwise, that could have been an easy 1-for-1.
Exactly. Beautiful ultimate from the support player. I mean, emilZy just did that's exactly what he needs to do. Save his teammates. Excellent stuff coming out from NRG there.
Could be a gank on mid lane now, because you can see Trixtank hovering around this left-hand side, looking towards Yammyn. No ultimate available for Trix, though, so just the slow, which will allow Zyrhoes to get in range with those drums, and he'll bang on him a little bit more and throw out those barrels to secure the kill. QvoFred was really just a spectator there, but he'll take an assist quite happily.
Big boy damage, and he got the slow, though. The slow is really important. Finding that dash slow on the opposition kept the Ra from really getting away. Really big part there from the enemy team.
Arkkyl versus emilitoo, a battle as old as time. The ball came out early, and because of that, Trix is going to regress now with the cavalry charge. Aegis early. Trixtank dismounts early to get the stun off. Now Variety's coming in.
And he's going to look for the Goomba Stomp. Big boy damage. Taunt. Variety hits him with the reach. A lovely rotation from the right-hand side. maniaKK cannot respond.
What a call from Dig, though, to have that happen, because QvoFred was actually in the right-hand side, potentially putting some pressure on maniaKK with adapting swinging around, and Variety's like, Qvo, peace, I'm leaving. We're getting kills elsewhere.
I love the Athena combination with any character that's going to be able to catch up and stay along with players. I always look at Circuit, right? The Circuit support and Athena solo is a big combo when Raffer pulled it out last year. Here with Trixtank on the Guan Yu, you have that with the horse, specifically with the Talaria
Good
boots.
snipe.
I love the speed.
Nice little snipe coming out from Yammyn in the mid lane there, stealing away those left-hand harpies. Not doom and gloom, obviously, after all. That ultimate will be up relatively soon. A very quick ultimate on the Ra in the mid lane, but scales into the late game and gets even lower as time goes on. As you can see, it's less than 40 seconds already. One thing about this game, though, Tom, not mentioning too much, this Amaterasu. I think she's going to really survive well in summer if we're going to see more pro teams putting low pressure in those solo lanes, specifically Aphrodite's, things like that. Amaterasu in the late game is monstrous if she can get there.
Left side, Trixtank started off. EmilZy still in trouble, but the rotation from NRG is going to be big. Two players, healthy as hell, coming out of the jungle. QvoFred gets lit up by Yammyn. Trixtank and Arkkyl will walk away. It's the 1-for-1. Emil for Qvo.
So it was an over-aggression more than anything from Dignitas there. They looked for a quick pick, but it wasn't quick. That was the big problem. And the rotation came in from NRG to answer that one back, keeping the goal disparity even for the most part, as now the solo lane is just going to farm up. No difference in this game so far, Tom.
Not any whatsoever. Going back to maniaKK's selection, remember how I was talking about how Shaman's Ring is awesome for Raijin because everything he does is multiple hits?
Yep.
Well, Amaterasu is going to shut that nonsense down. All of those channeled abilities, obviously outside of the ultimate, can just be silenced out.
There can be Variety under pressure here. Has to ult away. Lots of burst, but not enough for a kill, and chose a very safe target in the jungle in Zyrhoes. One of the best things about Athena, her escapability. But that does create pressure on the right-hand side, and Qvo, trying to defend this blue, needs to recognize, adapting, and emilZy a hit.
Yeah, QvoFred gets body blocked, will use the ultimate to get away, and that's going to be the end of that one. QvoFred finds himself backing again after added pressure from NRG.
And talk about that added pressure, it does mean he's a little bit behind in terms of experience now to that of adapting in the jungle, who's at the level 10. Picked up the Crusher early on. Crusher's definitely an interesting item. You like to see Jotun sometimes. Crusher can be used on certain gods in the jungle. Nemesis doesn't always feel like that to me, but I get it.
Oh, Trixtank from around the back. The dash, I think he got it. The fireball is going to head to the right-hand side, so it will be energies. But Trix showed up, and oh, that was close.
It was close, but as you always say, something about hand grenades and horseshoes or some rubbish like that. Like, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. NRG, get the Pyromancer and walk away unscathed, which is very important for them. 3 objectives definitely matter, and I think that's why we see Dig starting to group around this Gold Fury.
That's exactly right, Graham. They want to have control of this Gold Fury. Arkel's going to look to pull it, but only if he has the safety. Zyrhoes and Trixtank do have great tools to take this down, but the big difference between Raijin and Ra is that Ra has the one-shot burst, Raijin's is extended. So when it comes down to finishing off those objectives, Ra's going to be a lot scarier than Zyrhoes. So if Dignitas want to go for an objective like that, they can't rival it. Yammyn just has the better card, so they have to watch out for that and make sure to look for the pick before they focus on something like Gold Fury.
maniaKK already picked up a Pestilence, go for a little bit of anti-heal for himself to deal with Guan Yu at the later stages. No signs of that from Dignitas just yet, though. They do have to deal with the Ra as this game goes on, but Trix going to get aggressive, looking towards emilitoo, a little less mobile of a character, but Tusky helps out.
Yeah, I saw that. You heard the upset in my voice there. The Athena just came a little bit too slow for Zyrhoes to capitalize off of everybody in that hallway. Is what we were talking about, Hindu Man. As soon as Ra shows up, they gotta reset.
They reset, adapting, forces Zyrhoes out of the fight and adapting back to safety. Trixtank very low and maniaKK turns up in the nick of time to maybe close this one out. Trixtank will escape on the left-hand side as the snipe rained through from Yammyn. Didn't really do too much. A lot of members with little health, little mana on the side of Dignitas, but NRG looking strong. No ultimates available though.
Variety and Qvo are still here. They do provide a threat, but
Qvo does. He's got that ultimate.
That's still going to be energies.
So 2 objectives in a row go in the way of NRG. The first one, really an attempted steal, came out from Dignitas. The second one, Dignitas kind of put everything in on that Gold Fury and then decided against it after the fact and allowed NRG to skirt away with it.
NRG did a great job at controlling that team fight. Dignitas wanted to be the starters, and instead NRG popped the gun before anybody else had anything to say. They come in, they get their picks, and they don't. You notice I say get their picks, but they didn't get any kills. I don't care. Players had to back to base, leaving just the Athena and the Ravana, which they have tools. They were a threat, but against Yammyn's Ra, you're not going to find it.
We've said it time and time again, though. I mean, the whole idea of killing somebody is to remove them from the map to get something. And if they go back to base because they're out of health or life, it's the same way even if they don't die. Yammyn could die right now as the Thunder Crashing from Zyrhoes sets him up nicely. He got the snipe off, but it won't be enough to weather that storm as emilitoo under the tower. The bowler will connect off the tower shots, and that's why he'll fall down there.
Multitasking from Arkkyl right there, making sure to get both the tower and the player. Beautiful stuff there with the branching bowlers.
Oh, Qvo a little bit deep in the jungle. Adaption's already ulted him, has to ult away himself to the safety zone half of the map. But with only emilZy and Adapting there, no chase will continue. But the red buff was stripped away by Dignitas.
With that single invade, it doesn't have a huge, gigantic impact. When we see teams look for those invades, they look for repeated invades. So what I want to see out of Team Dignitas here is, nice, you got the red buff. Good for you.
Let's do it again.
What I really love about this, though, can we actually go hover over on that red buff real quick? I want to point out the ward that's sitting there. You can see it on the mini-map.
At least.
There it is. Yeah, that's a Dignitas ward sitting right there behind that wall. So Dignitas have all eyes on that red buff. They know exactly what they're doing. One red buff invade, cool, that's cute. You gotta find multiple.
Now you can see the player damage. emilitoo is top of that player damage at the moment, so low damage in game in the grand scheme of things, specifically if the Hunters are the ones at the top of the damage at this stage. But Arkkyl has a 2-level lead at the moment over the Artemis, and both of these are late-game hyper carries, Tom.
Absolutely. I mean, the Artemis can be a crit machine because she's got it built in that'll increase her crit chance. And when Tusky comes out, it's a big team fight ultimate. But Xbalanque is almost even more dangerous because he's just going to have more raw stats. Yep. 35 power. He's undoubtedly going to have it stacked by the end of the game. 35 power just above without any itemization. And Darkest of Nights might be the best team fight ultimate in the game.
Well, to be fair, we had a lot of conversations through the years about what could be the team fight ultimate. And in fairness, now that I look back at it, it really always has been Xbalanque's ultimate, especially in a competitive scenario.
It's always been in the conversation. And at some points, it does become #1 because at the end of the day, this is one of the ultimates that affects the meta game. By that, I don't mean what items you buy and where you go. By that, I mean the true meta game in the sense of the game outside of the game, the interaction of the players. You shut off communications when you shut off the lights.
Pyromancer's started again by NRG, and on the left-hand side, Xbalanque's out of this fight. Pyro's down already, but they're looking for a pick on emilitoo. Good little bit of protection from emilZy, but he threw Variety into him.
Love the ultimate coming out for the Raijin, but not enough focused damage. Players from Team Dignitas a little bit too late from the interaction, but QvoFred gonna make a move. Nice job.
Variety getting very low though and has to dash away. Meanwhile, this is still a 4-on-4 scenario now. As left-hand side, Arkkyl is getting a tier 2 tower. NRG trying to push down this right-hand side though, not allowing them to base as easy, and maybe even take the tower too, which is their intention.
Tier 1's has to go down. It absolutely has to. There's no questions asked. Xbalanque gonna farm up the jungle on the left-hand side as well. Beautiful move by Team Dignitas to split the map like that. I love that choice. Team Dignitas playing with their head, which I have criticized them for in the past for not doing that.
Adapting just blink, looking for aggression to QvoFred, but Arkkyl is on his way round from behind it. Adapting diving the tower, realizes Arkyl's behind him, but Arkyl's out of mana. And the whole team of NRG just walk around the corner and go, hello, sunshine. Are you going to get out of this one? Not easily.
Oh, emilZy going to jump on him, get him with the paws. maniaKK in trouble as well, hanging on by a thread. Trixtank trying to get it with the basics, but can't because of the heal.
He's going to live thanks to the ultimate that gets him away back to safety. So another pick for Dignitas there as Arkkyl trying to rotate round from the left-hand side. Small win for NRG.
Small win.
It's only a small win.
Small win.
They don't get anything more than that. I mean, they did the damage in a lot of... If you think about Pyromancer tier 1 tower for a tier 2, kind of even.
Yeah.
That's how I'd put that.
Tier
But
2 tower on the left side is going to, with the removal of it, makes this Gold Fury so much more interesting.
well, it's funny because we talk about the map a lot of like, yeah, you know, the dual lane side is the best one to siege down to end the game, to get a Phoenix in. But having the right towers down, actually impactful Fire Giant fights.
Very
You've got
much so.
less areas to be safe and engage and defend from. So it means it's opened that side of the map up for energy, but the left-hand side of the map is now opened up for Dignitas.
Nicely for Team Dignitas, if you're rooting for them at home. They do still have their mid lane tier 1 tower as well. So it's further away from the Fire Giant than the right side, but it is still closer than any tier 2.
Can we notice as well, though, that so far Energy have got 1 Gold Fury, 2 Pyromancers, and the gold is still even between these two teams. This is how tight it is. Experience of 1,000, split that between 5 people. 200 experience isn't a lot at 17.5 minutes in the game.
Dignitas making big moves, doubling their kill count, doubling their opposition's kill counts, where a lot of that gold comes from.
Very important moment in this game then, because I do feel this next Gold Fury, not necessarily the Gold Fury itself, but if one team comes ahead in terms of the picks here, it could be a big swing in terms of the amount of gold they could get off the back of it towards towers. Even the Fire Giant is always a vulnerable target. And I'm looking at Energy to be the ones that look for the aggression there. They've got a better secure overall, in my opinion.
They've got a much better secure. Also, they've itemized to be aggressive. You can see the early rage coming out of emilitoo to really vibe well with what the Artemis does. But perhaps most importantly, the blink on EmilZy. He's going to be looking to blink engage. So Energy have shown their hand and they want to be aggressive.
Not often I've seen emilitoo be 0-4 in the stage of a game, though. That's very surprising to me as Trixtank once again goes towards emilitoo. Dignitas stole the Gold Fury. Arkkyl did that on his own by just walking in there. Energy were just trying to fall back. Arkkyl may die for this, though, and will do so.
Huge play still coming out for the Hunter. EmilZy on the left-hand side is going to fall down to the hand of the Handman. Adapting on the run, blinking away is QvoFred. Beautiful job there to stay out of combat and find the escape.
Definitely a win for Dignitas there, then just taking away the Gold Fury right under the nose of Energy. Sure, they lose Arkkyl, but Energy lose EmilZy in the process. All ultimates consumed, and relic-wise, still pretty even too.
Arkyl's got enough of a lead from his team keeping emilitoo down that he can't afford to die there. Obviously, it's not good news to see your Hunter die, but he does go for it. And, oh well, Gold Fury wins.
There's not many objectives in the game that you care about dying over, but in certain stages of the game, Gold Fury is one of those. It's not a problem. And at that stage, it's fine, because the rest of the team were healthy enough to be able to defend the right-hand side.
Exactly.
The lull in the action is, as you'd expect, at 20 minutes in with the Gold Fury down. The only thing to really look at is the Fire Giant, but it's just too early. Neither team has really been confident around the objectives. I mean, if anything, Energy have been, but that last Gold Fury kind of showed a little window with awkwardness from Energy about whether they wanted to fight, whether they wanted to disengage, or whether they wanted to try and burst it down.
Exactly. There was a number, from the outside looking in, maybe we're wrong, but it definitely looked like there were a number of voices calling a number of different things. And that will be a big problem for Energy going forward.
Do see some anti-heal now from Dignitas. We saw it earlier on from Energy to make sure they deal with the Guan. But to deal with Raw, you've got a Divine Ruin and the Brawler's Beat Stick already picked up. But look at this. Cuvo looking to gank emilitoo, who is out of mana. Variety is here too. And the game is kill emilitoo. That's his 5th death of the game.
3 players from Energy trying to respond, and QvoFred's going to fall down to the hand of Yammyn. Trixtank is here trying to protect for his team. Slows are good, but he's got to be out.
You know what, Tom? This is showing that when you focus a member of Energy, the rest of the team get to do what they want, and that's what the rest of the team are now doing. emilitoo's the casualty of war being focused, and Energy are like, all right, you're going to kill him? Well, we'll turn it around and kill multiple members of your team.
Oh, Trixtank going to fall down here as well. Slows from Nemesis, but the stun from EmilZy confirming that one.
Right, Oracles will be secure. Pyromancer is available. Yammyn returning from base, though, so they won't start this up just yet, even if Energy were looking at doing it. Zyrhoes and Arkkyl still alive, however, is in the jungle. maniaKK trying to be a nuisance, as you'd expect an Amaterasu to be. Should have died once in this game, in my viewpoint, but he outplayed it and stayed alive more than anything else. So, 2-0-2 for the solo lane.
Right side, going to be a little bit of an objective attempt coming out from Energy. Raijin is here, though. But does he know? The answer is, well, Maybe.
Well,
Because maniaK's on the back line looking for the invade.
emilZy was still there too, and emilZy in a couple of more crits than he bargained for there too. Variety gets pulled in, thanks to the out of emilZy, but no one really there to follow up. maniaKK ends up dying at the cost, well, for the cost of the Pyromancer.
Exactly. That is a solo laner's choice. He absolutely chose to fall there so that his team would get the objective.
I don't think he would have chose.
I'm being a little glib, but there's honesty at the base of every joke, and his job is to zone. His job is to keep players out, and if he dies for it, but his team gets the objective, that will always be looked at as a victory.
Well, without maniaKK being alive, though, it's a 4v5, and immediately Dignitas turn towards the Fire Giant. They're starting to wreck this down relatively quick. Variety on zone work, Trixtank on secondary zone work is the call here, but everyone from Dignitas just pull off the Fire Giant and start to catch them in these choke points on NRG's side of the map.
Again, Yammyn on the Ra provides too much of a threat to go for an objective when he's anywhere near the location. So it's going to be emilZy that's in the crosshairs. There's Tusky, though. Low health for the support. Arkkyl looking to finish it. It's all Quvo.
emilZy couldn't do anything there. He was kind of getting poked from all sides and couldn't choose a target. The rest of the team was just looking for a setup option. Yammyn fired the ultimate, but just couldn't find a home. Difference is, though, is Dignitas have been whittled down in health and need to fall back, which is giving a bit of pressure for NRG, even with their 4 men. emilitoo's back. He might be level 16, but he's still a crit machine.
Trixtank does have the heal, but not going to focus on it. He'll head back to base. And the Fire Giant is in the hands of NRG. They're starting it, but this is more of a bait.
Adaption just blinked on mid, though, looking for a pick on QvoFred. He'll force Quvo to run away. Nothing really too much expended there. No beads, no blink. But blink is down on adapting, so that won't be available for the next engagement.
That's something that they have to be very cognizant of. Understanding that adapting is going to be 1 relic short. Team Dignitas, I don't think that's a reason to call a team fight. I don't think you go, oh, the blink is down, we got to go for it. But it's certainly something to take into account.
Fire Giant start up again then. emilitoo just swinging away. Currently not having the greatest game, as I mentioned a couple of times, but Trix going in with the support of Variety. No ultimate used by Trixtank there. He's holding on to it this time. Or rather, he didn't have it, I should say. But on the left-hand side, adapting. No blink this time, Sunshine. Both him, Zyrhoes, and Quvo trying to get aggressive, but they've got to be careful of the wraparound from maniaKK.
Amaterasu misses the stun. Better said, dodged away did Team Dignitas.
Cool. This is a game of dodges, this one, Tom.
Yeah.
This isn't a game of finding the kills. This is who can survive the longest and make the right call to disengage at the right time. That's what this dance has become.
I like your use of the word dance because it does require Dignitas to be in sync. They need to be on the same page in order to...
And sync? Really? That's not dance music.
Wasn't even where I was going. My point is
you
they
did
got to
it.
be on the same stage, you backstreet hooligan.
Backstreet's back, or at least Variety's back with a blink turn onto 2. Yammyn's the focus, and he was evaporated. Adapting could swing around the back, but he found Arkkyl round one side, and he's trying to fall back towards his team. Quvo ate a bunch of the punishment on the front line, gets healed up by Trix. Good little pick from Dignitas there.
And because of that, we'll open up the door for the Fire Giant. NRG are here and healthy, and despite the 5-on-4, still unwilling to take it.
Outside of Zyrhoes, really, like Dignitas' squad is seek hero, group his team, kill a hero. That seems to be the whole plan. Variety going to lead the charge again towards maniaKK. maniaKK dashing away, and it's all about trying to catch them in the choke points with the Athena turn into Guan shreds.
Oh, I thought we were going to see more there.
Not just yet. Not just yet. Neither team really covered around the fire, but they're going to try and bring in NRG once more. Yammyn dead in about 10 seconds. Knock up will not hit emilZy. He'll leap away just in time before that hits, but adapting, trying to wrap around the left, and Quvo keeping him in check as always.
Nice job from Quvo to make sure he stays on his man, if you will.
He's man marking. It really is the quintessential. emilZy and emilitoo just trying to buy some time, but emilZy getting fully focused now. He's down. maniaKK comes in. emilitoo on his own, but he eats a couple of drums, and Quvo goes to the back line. Meanwhile, adapting, taking on Arkkyl and gets the shield up in time to block the shot and annihilate Arkkyl with his own bowler.
Arkkyl started in, and adapting's going to fall. maniaKK takes care of Zyrhoes, 2 for 2 so far. Trixtank trying to escape. Beautiful body block by Variety. What a play.
Main thing is, though, Yammyn and emilitoo both healthy enough to start this up if they so choose. QvoFred has sniffed this out. He has an idea that they could go for this. They've got a ward down around that, and I think Yammyn smelt it himself. He was like, hang on a second. Quvo might be around this corner. We played him against enough, and Quvo's under pressure now.
There's going to be the, good for him.
notice how this play is going, by the way. Cuvo pulls in one direction, and while they're trying to go for Cuvo, Trix is poking elsewhere, trying to distract them away from going for the kill. But talk about the kill. That's a late game Amaterasu, and that's why she gets picked up for the later stages.
And that will confirm the Fire Giant for NRG, but Team Dignitas does have their support player in the neighborhood.
They got two
Trixtank
support
is gonna
players.
show up. Oh, and here comes the Athena as well. This is actually all of a sudden very bad.
Yammyn going to get away, though, just in time back to the Aegis. The burst is good. Should be for NRG. Not much an Athena and a Guan can do in that scenario. Finally, all 5 members, too, get the Fire Giant from NRG. And in a tight game like this, it's been a back-and-forth encounter. NRG definitely have an advantage now.
Yeah, I mean, this late in the game, well, not even that late. I suppose this is where we're supposed to be at 27 minutes. But at this point in the game, I should say, with no team really pulling ahead, no team really stretching, 1,400 gold, 1,200 gold is not really a lead to really hang your hat on.
Well, it will be in a second, because the gold few is going to add to that. There's still a couple of tier 2 towers remaining, all 3, in fact, for NRG to look to take down here. The question is, do we see Dignitas try and mount a defense at these tier 2 towers? Because sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Their composition screams that they could try a little bit of a muster at one of them, but is it worthwhile?
I would absolutely love to see them fight under their tier 2s. They've got an even game as far as itemization is concerned. Zyrhoes and Trixtank are monsters on their characters. The Raijin and the Guan Yu are monsters when it comes to playing defense. I don't think this is a poor choice if Dig decides to do that.
I always think they're running the risk, though, of like gags from the jungle, you know, extra positions of snipes through the wall. And if you fail on the defense and lose a couple of members, you definitely lose a Phoenix. Whereas if you're at the Phoenix line, you may be able to hold.
That's the key. It really depends on where you're at.
Yeah.
If you're pushing into the Phoenix from kind of that right on front of the line area, I think that's where you're going to run into issues. You got to find it sort of by that entrance. Take a couple of steps back, the entrance to the jungle, force the enemy to come off of the Phoenix, and then you have an easier time because you're not fighting 5-on-6 with the bird being that 6th option.
Tier 1 tower mid goes down, and Dig not in a position to really defend the tier 2. So NRG looking around first of all, just making sure no one is going for a cheeky gank attempt from the sides before they initiate and break down the tier 2.
And the reason that we don't see Team Dignitas opt to defend the tier 2 like I had asked for is because of the geometry of the map. Look where Arkkyl is right here. Look how small that entrance to the Phoenix is, as opposed to where the tier 2 is. There's an entrance in front and behind. Ain't nobody flanking you as long as you ward right this area. Ain't nobody flanking you on a Phoenix. So Team Dignitas willing to give up those tier 2s in exchange, they're going to be defending on their Phoenixes a lot harder. That said, Hindu, because of the 2 towers going down, that's 3,000 gold just like that.
It is, and the one thing NRG did there was spend that gold, which helps them to finish off their items a little bit more. But not only that, they're showing respect to Dignitas. Like, yeah, they've got the Fire Giant. They've got the Fire Giant buff. They've got a bit of a gold lead, but they're playing it safer because they realize this is still a very tight game. This Fire Giant won't just win them the game because Dignitas are doing great work. They're up in kills. It shows they're here to fight.
Fire Giant buff is excellent, but realistically, red buff is the better buff if you're just looking to do damage. Fire Giant buff provides so many other options. That's why it's a great buff. It's going to help you take down towers. It's going to help you regen, so you get the sustain and the reinitiation. But if you're just trying to murder somebody outright,
Red buff.
It's average. You're really looking for that red buff.
Tier 2 on the left-hand side, then final tier 2, and no one here from Dignitas to defend. They will defend at the Phoenix line. The lanes have been pushed out though, so it's up to NRG of like, do we want to push out all the lanes first, or do we want to go for a cheeky attempt at a Phoenix now before the Fire Giant wears off?
And I think that's the call. Well, that would be the call if it wasn't 30 seconds till dissipation.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
If it was 45-50, I think we see the play. But with just 30 seconds, nobody's in the neighborhood. Back off and just go back to base, spend some money, and come back to the Fire Giant a second time.
Now, I will say Dignitas' clear isn't the greatest at Phoenixes. That's my only concern. They're really relying on Raijin more than anybody else to clear that wave. Obviously, the front line can stand and tank up a couple of shots, but getting rid of those minions is a pain in the backside more than anything else, and Xbalanque is not someone you want throwing bowlers out because they're just going to be too far forward.
Zyrhoes does have the option to really take care of that, like you said. The Raijin will be able to clear the wave and potentially damage players, so we'll see how the Raijin works out in practice as opposed to on paper.
Well, NRG going to return to the Fire Gen. They've got 45 seconds to wait around here, get their ward vision down, and maybe find a cheeky little pick. Dignitas, though, not going to allow the pick to be too easy as they're staying grouped up, but maniaKK not scared to just show his face once more and go, hey, you're still not going to kill me. I am still Amaterasu.
Never been scared in his life.
I don't think once.
I don't think maniaKK has ever been scared in his life.
Nope.
Whatsoever.
The only time I've ever seen him play passive was after World Championships, where he dived the tower for a kill and messed it up, and then went passive for a little while. I'm like, wow, I've never seen him play that way.
Where is that from?
Yeah, I've never seen that style. maniaKK, though, been around the scene a long, long time. Back in the original SK days, all the way back when. Happy to play those healers in the solo lane too, which is something that NRG can adopt for their playstyle if they'd like to. They use Yammyn in the mid lane with a lot of healers, but maniaKK definitely able to play the Raws, able to play the Aphrodites and the Chungras.
I like that as well, because when you look at players that can do multiple things, I think they're just more valuable to their team, because that means the team can try different approaches.
maniaKK going to go in aggressive on Arkkyl, and the match-off between those two. Surprised they left Arkkyl unguarded like that so easily, Dignitas. They do need to do a better job of protecting that backline, because Arkkyl goes down, then that's a big difference in these team fights.
At the same time, a little bit of it is on Arkkyl himself as well. He's going to get dove and he needs to make sure to save his slow and his Jaguar Assault for the escape. It does a ton of damage, I understand. But if you're using your escape offensively, well, things start to become an issue.
So the gold lead between the two still matters for NRG here, but it's all about this Fire Giant more than anything else. Granted, NRG will have a little bit more completed towards their final build in terms of items, but Dignitas definitely feel confident about contesting here, and rightly so. This Fire Giant is the key to victory for both these two teams.
And the Ra this is where the Ra shines, is this out-of-combat healing, this ability to go ahead and reset.
That trap line, yeah, the cameraman saw it at the same time as me. Like, look at those 3 little red traps in the ground. Hard for the naked eye to really tell what they are, but they are all Artemis traps. Just cut off a whole zone of entrance. And emilZy's going in.
He blinks right over it, doesn't need to walk into the traps. The ultimate from Zero forced out. That's it.
And that was a good win. It was blink and ultimate out of Cerberus for Zyrhoes' ultimate, which, to be fair, is the closest thing to a Fire Giant secure that Dignitas have on their team.
Exactly.
Although Arkkyl did steal a gold Fury.
You never know. You absolutely never know what's going to find that last hit.
So now it's about choke points in the jungle between these two, and this is the order side choke points that we get to see a little bit more of, where emilZy is now, and of course the gap where Trixtank is about to walk through. They can find a couple of picks there and keep them narrowed in. It makes it a lot easier for Yammyn to find the snipes, but the Fire Giant getting low, forced to reset as Variety just off the mark with that taunt. Bit of poke onto emilZy, comes out as the snipe from Yammyn. Didn't find a home.
Nice flip kick from QvoFred, just on the money. Heard the sound cue, went for it. Easy peasy.
Oh, right, gets
and
the
now
turn
with
on
that
emilZy.
down.
But it's not going to be enough. I just thought it was going to be follow-up there, and there wasn't. It was just like, taunt. No. No one on Dignitas.
You and me both. I mean, that was me giving it to you
the
to go.
layup,
Yeah,
yeah.
you were going to be like, oh, they use all the abilities, except
Sorry.
they didn't use any abilities.
I threw a brick. That's what basically happened there. I'm like, I have nothing to do.
No. That's the players.
I know.
Blame the players.
I never blame the players. The players are the best thing in the world.
Is this Bizarro Land?
Even the ones in chat.
Is this Bizarro Land?
They pay my bills.
What have you done with my Hindu man?
They pay my bills, okay?
Where is the gambler?
What?
Where is
It's not weekend, Joe.
where is Savage Hindu man?
I'm not savage. I don't know where you all got this idea that I'm savage. I've never been savage once. I'm the nicest guy you'll ever meet. Why are you silent, though? You don't think I'm nice? Okay. This lull is going to get to us too, Tom. Because it's not a terrible lull. This game hasn't been boring. This game hasn't been
Back and forth.
inconsequential. It's actually an important game between these two, but they're just in this moment where it's like, hey, we all know this next team fight, this one big team fight, could be the difference between a win and a loss in game one. The best news is it's a best of 3, but games like this really do irk you when you lose, especially if it's over a small mistake like, I don't know, a missed time beads or ultimate being used too late, too early, something like that. And that's where these two top teams in Europe end up falling down to most of the time.
Right. It's these late game moments where one single team fight, just everybody's out for 50 seconds, walk up the lane, get the Titan.
Yep.
It's a scary place to be in.
And just look at the pro level of play with emilitoo. Like, I've called him out for being 0-5 now, but his player damage, he's 3rd highest in the game. So even though he's being chunked down every team fight, he's still putting in the work.
Meanwhile, maniaKK gonna get taunted in by Variety. Left-hand side, junglers dueling themselves. Not enough for NRG to continue what they started.
Nice.
emilZy gonna blink over and look for big stuff.
Didn't find an ult, but he did get the one out of Zyrhoes yet again. So Zyrhoes ult on cooldown. That seems to be the game plan. emilZy's ult for Zyrhoes. If we can keep that chain going, maybe get the beats, maybe get the Aegis out of Zyrhoes, this will help us more in the fight.
There's so much impact that Raijin brings to that ultimate. Clearly the damage is incredible, and that's what you're using most of the time, but also a little control there as well.
Still, no pull on the fire giant just yet. Yammyn and emilitoo staying grouped together as emilZy on the front line. Going to weather some of those shots, so allow the snipe from Yammyn to go through. Arkkyl relatively low. Zyrhoes caught in an awkward spot, but gets support from Quvo.
Meanwhile, Artemis is going to take down Zyrhoes, adapting, chasing down
split him.
QvoFred. Arkyl's going to fall unless Variety finds a taunt, and he does! Beautiful escape for one. Can the same happen to Quvo?
They're just going to buy time. That's what Dignitas need to do now. They need to wait for Zyrhoes to respawn in 50 seconds and not lose any more lives. That's why Variety's coming back into this to make sure that they can't pick Quvo that easily, and they can try and distract them around the fire giant, which is going down.
Variety's already there.
I don't think he can do it on his own,
He's
though.
just an Athena. He can't do anything.
We saw him and Guan earlier. We're not able to stop the last one.
Players in the middle lane unable to really join this party because of what adapting has done on the Nemesis.
So the one pick. And the big pick was Arkkyl went right, Zyrhoes went left, Zyrhoes needed help. He got it from QvoFred. So NRG just split the team fight in two. But all right, guys, we'll deal with these, you deal with those. We got a pick. Cool, fire giant, let's go.
I love what adapting does this time and time again, where he duels the other jungler. He keeps them out of the fight and forces them to fight him 1v1. Whether or not he wins or loses, usually he wins, but it just keeps them out of the fight at large.
emilZy going to tank up a couple of shots. Minion wave on its way. Zyrhoes has respawned though, has his ultimate backup, which is important for defense, as we mentioned earlier. But NRG have nowhere else to really be right now, except maybe the Gold Fury, and that's where they're going to go.
At this point in the game, the Gold Fury is, I will take it. I'm not denying it.
The red buff is worth more than the gold.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's what NRG are doing. They stole the red, they'll walk away.
I actually thought they would do gold too, but red definitely the biggest key there. Take it out of the hands of Zyrhoes, which is one of the ones they're going to want it on, or even Arkkyl, which is definitely an option for them too. Do see the Cerberus coming out into play as well from Trixtank. I've not mentioned it just yet because I've not really felt its impact so far.
Cerberus is going to be really neat. Not against Ra. Ra is a big healer, and everybody's staring at him. But very rarely does the battle heal actually come into play. Ra's an out-of-combat healer. You see that 15,000? That's a lot of the, we fight, back off, guys, stand in the pool of the sun.
Heal.
That's what you're looking at. maniaKK and the stolen heals from emilZy are really nice because those will force it. And what I love about this, emilZy can't control his heals.
That's true.
Other players will sit there and go, all right, you onked me. I'm not going to hell heal. I'm not going to push doves. I'm not going to go ahead and maniaKK stand switch. emilZy, if he's next to Trixtank, will just heal, and he'll take extra damage.
So Gold Fury is still up. NRG quickly return to base now with the Fire Giant still around their waist. The second one of the game. They can now look for the left-hand Phoenix. A couple of members of Dignitas just off on the side. You'll see QvoFred just to the right of your screen here. He's always looking to ult to the backline if he sees a window. emilZy, though, going to trade with Variety and Trix.
There's a big one coming out for the big dog. No trouble for Trixtank, though, as he finds himself low. emilZy on the run.
Didn't get him.
Sprint's good.
Zyrhoes, though, has been abandoned on the Phoenix line, trying to get some damage off. And now with multiple members being injured from Dignitas,
Nice.
It's a free Phoenix for NRG. They did the dirty work. It's not about the kills. It's about those objectives.
And again, this out-of-combat healing. You see how low emilZy is. He stands in the sun for just a little bit and able to go ahead and soak that up.
Hot dog.
Get that vitamin D, boy.
Hot dog. You get it?
No.
He's dog and standing in the sun. It's hot. Hot dog. Yeah.
Like the dog days of summer?
Yeah.
We're here in the summer split?
We are here in the summer split. You're right. That's why Rory's shining bright like a diamond right about now. With that left-hand Phoenix down, Dignitas still don't know where they want to go next. They're kind of just pinned in their base, waiting to see what NRG choose to do. They've got a couple of wards placed down to keep an eye on the front line. Ultimate's not available for Trix or Arkkyl this engagement. Same could be said for a couple of energies, which are slowly coming back up, however.
For NRG, I want to see maniaKK lead the charge here. Dash in, get an important silence onto whomever they feel fit, whoever's giving them an issue. My money, Variety. Silence him out. go for the ultimate and switch hard to a target that they can blow up.
No beads on Zyrhoes, remember that one in this engagement. Yammyn, though, took a lot of damage, more than he bargained for there, and he will almost fall down. The Aegis used. Qvo going in with Trixtank to secure the kill on Yammyn. emilitoo is in trouble on the front side, meanwhile. He'll go down thanks to the help of the Thunder Crash coming out from Zyrhoes. Adapting, trying to swing away. And now, oh, it's a rout, boys. maniaK's on his own, and he's falling apart for energy here as Dignitas win one team fight.
Variety gets the last hit, but
game?
everybody collapsed on them. 60, 50, 50, 50. This totally could be game. Depends on how strong emilZy plays. They're walking up here. There are 2 towers alive, 3 Phoenixes. It's going to be really tough. But if Zyrhoes has the damage, they can do this.
Hang on, is that 2 minion waves that just got through to the Titan? That's 2 full minion waves. Someone's going to base.
This is the race.
This is a big race. emilZy's just got to stay alive, really. He can't fall down here, emilZy. His job is to slow them down. They don't have minions with them. This is taking them a long time to bring down the Phoenix. The Titan is dropping on the other half of the map. They're going to get a Phoenix, but they cannot end.
60% on the Titan, 60% on the enemy Titan. Here comes Dignitas into the throne room.
They can't do
Chaos
this.
Titan is falling. 80%, 60%. Hand-to-hand, they're going to beat the minions.
Oh, no! emilZy pulls him into the fountain, gets the kill on Trix, jumps to the back. The Titan's alive, and Yammyn is back in
There's
action.
Zyrhoes' ultimate. There's the ultimate for Zyrhoes. Right into it. Yammyn gets the double kill.
He's not gonna do
but
it.
Zyrhoes is not going to survive. The Titan does the damage. He's got to get out of there. QvoFred is alive, but he's back to base already. Zyrhoes pulls one out of nowhere.
He had to, because that's just going to help him out for a moment or two. Now, well, we saw emilZy just do it and defend and wait for respawns. Qvo's got to do the same thing on his own. He went back to base to defend the Titan. You know what? If he actually stayed, they would have won. If Qvo had his damage there, they probably would have won.
That
was a tough call.
That's you're a gambling man. Sometimes you have to push.
This is gambling. You just come off the back of that amazing set against Rival, where Qvo blinked in, going for the end. emilZy, look at him. The Guardian of the Titan is waiting for him. emilZy has to stop this as the rest of the team try and end.
The
Qvo
ultimate
goes in.
This is
Energy do it.
Energy take it a little bit too quickly.
The base race.
Woof.
What a weird end to that game. That call from Dignitas to try and end there. With Qvo, to be fair, Qvo stays, they would have got it. I really do believe that.
It's the right call. I started talking about a gambling analogy. Sometimes you got to push all of the chips forward. And if you keep a small stack, you're not able to do it. That little bit of what you think is security is actually what winds up being your demise.
That was a hard call.
So watching them do this, if all 5 players sit on the Titan, they win the game. They send QvoFred back because they think it's security, but that little bit of security, listen, if you're going for it, you gotta go for it. Oh!
Such a close game between the two. NRG got the lead for a little while there. That's all right. I'm tough.
I hit you
I'm
kinda hard
not
there.
aggro. It's okay.
That's fair.
Yeah. Who do you think was MVP in that game? Titan?
Minions?
Titan had health.
Minions?
Minions. All win.
Minions did half of the Titan's damage.
That's fair, but then again, the whole team wipes. They could just have warded and done that anyway. Awkward one for you guys to decide at home. That's only game 1. We've got 2 more to bring you. Potentially. We'll find out. Let's get to the desk.
Wow, what a game there between NRG and Dignitas. NRG had it, then they lost it, then they had it again. NRG somehow make it out with the win. Wow.
Honestly, if Dignitas got some of those towers on the side lanes, then the Titan would have been more vulnerable, so the call from Dignitas would have been more concrete. This is flashbacks of the game 1 against Rival at the Spring Masters LAN.
Where they're out in front, where it looks like Dignitas have control of it, and then it kind of gets ripped away from them. But it was so much that they had to think about, so many calls they had to make. They get that huge wipe, and let's talk about that fight first, Tolly, because Zyrhoes, he gets off a huge ultimate defending on the Phoenix.
Oh yes, it was a nice pick originally onto Yammyn. He was all the way in the back line. It was difficult to really peel for him. On top of that, emilitoo didn't have beats, so he was soon to fall. So without the mid-mage to heal everybody and deal the damage, without the late game Artemis, NRG were destined to lose that fight. The rest of Dignitas doing a good job chasing, but they didn't kill emilZy. He was the one defending NRG member that caught a couple of them slipping with that Stygian Torment, pulled them towards the fountain, defended the Titan just until the brink end.
And what a play there for emilZy. You just highlighted that. Stygian Torment allowed him to get a kill. He continued to defend, and the whole while, Fire Minions coming in onto their own Titan. And actually, it sounds like emilZy is going to be the MVP. And I think off that last play alone, perhaps, because certainly he kept them in the game. Not only did he set them up, but he was there to defend, because my boy QvoFred came on the attack to try and, like, race the minions and was not able to do it.
NRG were just one step above Dignitas at the late game. They kind of understood, like, hey, we have minions in their Titan room, and QvoFred is not there. Oh, he's looking to backdoor. So emilZy being there, a great opportunity for him to defend, a great support player for NRG, finding another win against Dignitas in this first game. And this is another just reoccurrence where Dignitas can't get anything against NRG mentally.
This is how their sets have gone, though. They are longer games where Dig is kind of out in front, and NRG just finds a way to close out in the end. This makes them 5-1 now across this whole season so far. NRG just kind of have Dignitas' number, but I want to go back to emilZy there a bit. Yes, that last play he made was great, but he was doing work for them all game long on that Cerberus, burning cooldowns, burning relics, and setting up for the rest of the team.
That's kind of what you're expecting of your support player. He made it easier for Yammyn to deal the damage with his raw player. And honestly, this game was pretty even around that 39-minute mark, where there was 13-10 on the kill cards. The damage was even between Yammyn and Zyrhoes. They were both around 20 to 21,000 damage. The healing was very close between the Raw and the Guan. What made it a little bit extra was this Amaterasu, because of the meditation, that extra 2,000 healing allowed more mobility with the aura on top of it. That's why NRG were able to reposition themselves.
And NRG really needed to be able to reposition it. In particular, emilitoo was having a kind of a hard time. Dignitas made a concentrated effort to sort of sit on him early on, right? And in the end, emilitoo was still doing plenty of damage on that Artemis. It's just so hard to keep a goddess like that down, but we are